No doubt, the airline business in Nigeria is challenging, very capital intensive, and one not helped by low profit margins, and of course, a life expectancy of about 10 years for any airline that operates. With some airlines winding down temporarily and a massive number of personnel back to the labor markets, it's time for authorities to act fast if the industry will not be extinct. This is the crux of our discussion on the program. A warm welcome to you, and thank you so much for joining us on Innovation This Week on Channels Television. I'm Bukola Joe-Oketunmibi.
Passengers within the departure hall of the airport. Some domestic carriers on the air side. The headquarters of Nigeria's oldest airline, Aero contractors. Here, members of 3 aviation unions all gather to protest the airline's temporary shutdown. The unions claim this was the fear they expressed earlier this year. But now, the reality dawns, and they are not happy.
The management decided to suspend the operations of air services they were rendering to the public, all of a sudden to the amazement of the union. So in that regard, they were telling everybody, all members of staff, to go home and sit down until further notice, which we're not comfortable with. In that address, they said we should back out, no more work, but we are not clear. We learned that it's a directive from HAMCON. That was why we felt so uncomfortable with this, because we are in the middle of negotiation with management for now. The negotiation has been on for the past 3 months.
In a statement signed by Aero's managing director, Fola Akinkotu, the airline says, quote, "The impact of the external environment has been very harsh on our operational performance. Hence, management's decision to suspend scheduled services operations indefinitely effective September the 1st, 2016, pending when the external opportunities and a robust, sustainable and viable plans is in place for Aero contractors to recommence its scheduled services." Unquote. The company adds that the implication of the suspension of scheduled services operations extends to all staffs directly and indirectly involved in providing services, as they are effectively to proceed on an indefinite leave of absence during the period of non-services. While the union has promised to occupy Aero till the management reconsiders its stand on labour issues, the Minister of Aviation comes calling. While the cookie appears to be crumbling after 57 years for the nation's oldest carrier, another domestic airline, First Nation, is refuting rumours of winding down. Rather, the airline insists its current fleet is undergoing a planned maintenance which has been orderly arranged with advance notification to passengers, and service will be reinstated on or before September the 15th. While passengers will be waiting to see the airline bounce back, the airline business in the country is not without its challenges, as indebtedness to banks, aviation agencies and other entities, and now the skyrocketing dollar affects the bottom line.
If I had borrowed 1 billion, at the end of the year, I'm expected to cough out 225 million as interest alone, plus the 1 billion. You have to pay taxes. You have to pay your workers their salaries. You have to buy foreign exchange at a very high rate. You have to take care of sundry issues.
If you go to Canada, CRG. If you go to Brazil, you have Embraer. So they're all there. People can negotiate. Banks can provide, their financiers. There are so many people that play game around there, and they make business good for their people. But yeah, not even in Nigeria. In all our African countries, there is no one.
Some others believe that most airline operators entering the business have underestimated the financial and human resources required to sustain it, with the peculiarities of the Nigerian economic operating environment, especially the persistent trend of double-digit inflation and interest rates in excess of 20% yearly. With an estimated lifespan of about 10 years for local operators and the demise of many indigenous carriers such as Okada Air, Oriental Airlines, Chajangi, and Air Nigeria, industry operators believe that government and principal players must sit together and chart a new course for the sector, especially in these dire economic times.
If airlines must do well and return to profiting, operators have to take a critical look at ticket pricing, plus the need for a business-friendly environment created by the government. Our guest is the president of the Aviation Roundtable, Mr. Gbenga Olowo.
I look at the airline tariff. I was an operator in 1994. That is 22 years ago. We were selling 1 hour on jet. 1 hour on jet is Lagos Abuja. We were selling that ticket at the rate of 2,200 naira. The exchange rate was 22 naira, meaning that in 1994, 1 hour on jet was $100. Today, 22 years after, Lagos Abuja, I got a ticket, it's about 29,000 naira average. Out of that 29,000, there is the TSC, there is the VAT, there is the PSC, and I did an analysis. 23,000 goes to the airline out of the 29,000. 18% of that content goes to pay user charges. 18%. Meaning that the balance of 23,000, if you convert it by 400 naira of the dollar, $57. The product that you buy at $100 22 years ago, somebody is selling it at $57 today. In the face of all the indexes that are increasing, fuel has increased, exchange rate has increased, everything has increased, and somebody is selling a $100 product 22 years ago at the rate of $57. Somebody must ask a question. Are you looking for a safe operation? Somebody in the economic regulation department will say, hey, what are you guys doing? So don't blame them if they are not able to pay a lot of these things. So one issue that I'm trying to strike at is that the pricing is not right. The pricing of the product is not right. 2, their costing is not right. Because the costing here, if 18% of the income, I am just a collector. A government should sit down and say, hey, don't collect again. Because if you collect, I won't pay. So the airlines are not paying ticket sales charge to SCAA, they are not paying FAN, they are not paying NAMA, because 18% of their tariff are just revenue collection. A serious government will sit down and say, all right, this revenue you are collecting for us, you are not revenue collectors. We will find a way to collect our revenue so that you have your own money. Besides, why do you collect ticket sales charge and you collect VAT? That's double taxation on sales. It is not like that for international flights. And government has been hearing this, SCAs are aware of this, and nothing has been done over the years. So all these elements of the ticket that you think the airline has, that money does not go to their pocket.
When we return, our guest has more on this subject.